Hello and welcome. My name is Ukile. Welcome to this chapter where we talk about intervals. Um, just before I proceed on the practical part of things, I just wanna introduce a concept called the complementary interval. So we have complementary intervals. But first off, intervals, simple intervals. Talking about simple intervals, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, in these, amongst these intervals, we have 1 and 8. 1 and 8 are called perfect. 4 and 5 are also perfect intervals. But there's a difference between these two groups here. 1 and 8 cannot be, you cannot change them, you cannot augment them, you cannot minor them, you cannot measure them. They are just perfect. Okay, they stay there in any scale, in any key. 1 and 8 stay there. They can't move. They're stuck there. And then you have perfect 4 and perfect 5. Perfect 4 and perfect 5. Yeah, perfect 4 and perfect 5. Now, there's a situation when the fourth is actually is augmented or sharpened. It's called an augmented chord. So you can augment a fourth, and you also can diminish a fourth. You can augment a fifth. You can diminish a fifth. Sorry. And there are some cases where the fourth is actually diminished. So we will examine some scales like that. And then the other remaining intervals, which is the second, third, fourth, second, third, sixth, and seven, they're called major. They are major in the major scale. These are major. Now they can be in other scales or in mods. They can change to a minor. You can have a minor. You can minor a second, or you can have a minor second. You can have a minor third, a minor six, and a minor seven. Okay, and where 5 and 7 exist together in a chord, you have a situation. If the 5 is flatted and the 7 is flatted in that chord, like a chord with a spelling like 1, flat 3, flat 5, and flat 7. It's called a minor 7, flat 5. Now you can also have a chord which is called a half diminished. You can also have a chord called with a spelling like 1, flat 3, flat 5, and double flat 7. Now that chord is called a full diminished chord. Okay, so these are the things that I just want to show you here. But we can as we speak about mods just up there in this lesson, you will see what I'm talking about here. Let's go to this uh, term here, which is called tritone. A tritone is a situation where you have three consecutive tones. So in a diatonic scale, for example, you have like in the Ionian mod, or the first mod of the major scale, you actually have a tritone between 4 and 7. So that means 4 to 5 it's a tone, 5 to 6 is a tone, 6 to 7 is a tone. So you have a tritone there. So that's beautiful. So we can also examine tritones in the modes, the other modes of the major scale. Okay. Now let's go to the complementary interval. Complementary here is we have taken a situation for simple intervals. Complementary intervals add up to 9. So if I want to find a complementary interval for the unison, for example here, I subtract from 9. 9 minus 1 is equal to 8. So the complementary interval for the unison is the octave. This is very important. It's the octave. You find out when we construct triads that these complementary intervals work together, especially the unison and the octave. They're used to construct the transpositions of triads and transpositions of chords, if you like, on the same, just some strings, same number of strings, like on string 1, 2, 3. If you want to transpose intervals there horizontally, so you're transposing triads horizontally, you have to use the octave and the unison to do that. We will demonstrate that later on. And the complementary interval for the second is actually 9 minus 2, which is the 7th. And the complementary for the third is 9 minus 3, which is 6. The complementary interval for the for the fourth is 9 minus 4, which is 5. The complementary interval for the fifth is 9 minus 5, which is 4. And so on, as you can see here. For the sixth is the third, for the seventh is the second, and for the eighth is the first, which is the key or the unison. Now, I'll show you. So this is the summary here. Summary here. I'll put the summary. Now, for compound intervals, like my guitar has 24 frets, so you can actually have 2 octaves there. So you have complementary intervals here. Now, the formula it changes here. Now, for this complementary intervals, I'm happy to tell you again that the 8 and the 15th, which is 15th, which is down here. Let me just I'll just bring it up like that. Right, complementary intervals. So you see, for the octave and the 15th, they are perfect, and they are complementary to each other here, as you can see. So this time we are subtracting from 23 instead of 9. 23 or 23 or 23, depending on where you come from, So 23 minus 8 is 15. So you have your double octave, or the 15th. That's a double octave. So an octave, the complement of an octave going upwards, is the 15th. And for the 9th is 23 minus 9 is 14. And for the 10th, 23 minus 10 is the 13th. And for the 11th, the 11th, 23 minus 11, you get 12. And 23 minus 13, you get 10, 9, and 8, and so on. So this is the idea of complementary intervals. So much for this. So that's the complementary interval. Now we will tackle this again when we get to music algebra. I want to leave it here because I want to quickly go to some other things and we summarize them, so that if you have your own time, you can research these things and find out what you can get them, because they increase your vocabulary for music and ultimately they open up the fretboard for you. Now, here we go. This is a summary of things here. Complementary intervals. Looking at simple intervals again, I'm introducing the interval triangle. The interval triangle. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here in the first one, and I have created an arrow here. The first interval, or the unison, is called the tonic, and the second is called the subtonic, and the third is called the this is mediant. This color is too dark. It's called the mediant, and the fourth is called the subdominant, and the fifth is called the dominant. I think dominant, you know it from the dominant chord, or you will know it from the dominant chord. The sixth is called the submediant, and the seventh is called the leading tone, and the eighth is called the tonic or the octave. It's another tonic octave. Now, but at an octave, it's an octave higher than the first tonic. So much for that triangle. We go to the next triangle. It's called the Mod's triangle. The Mod triangle here I'll be tempted to change this color here, which is the color of that. So I can play around with that. Where are we again? Now the mods triangle. I'll change this to as well so that you can see them spellings. It's important to know those spellings, median and submedian. Now you can see that the complementary intervals here, the tonic and octave, supertonic and leading tone, median and submedian, subdominant and dominant. Those are the complementary intervals. Okay, so you can quickly learn them by using this triangle. The next triangle, like I said, is the mods triangle. We're talking about the complementary intervals. You have the Ionian mod and the Ionian made from the tonic, and the Ionian mod made from the other tonic, which is the octave. So unison and octave, you have Ionian mods there. Now on the second degree, you can create a Dorian mod, and its complementary mod is the Locrian mod. The Locrian mod, which is the seventh mod, and the third one is called the Phrygian mod, and its complementary mod is the Aeolian mod or the natural minor. Aeolian mod or natural minor. And then you go to the fourth mod, which is called, or the mod that you create from the fourth degree. It's called the Lydian mod, and the complementary is the fifth one, which is called Mixolydian mod. Mixolydian mod. So these are the mods. I'm going very fast here. We'll come back to these things and study them thoroughly. Now these are the formulas of the mods. You can actually find out what happens here. So the first, which is the Ionian mod, and its complement here, they are the same formula, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. The second mod, which is the Dorian mod, is 1 2 flat 3 4 5 6 flat 7 and 1. And the third mod, which is the I'm gonna create it like this. The third mod is called the Phrygian mod, and its formula there, as you can see, is 1 flat 2 flat 3 4 5 flat 6 flat 7 and 1. And the fourth mod, which is 1 2 3 sharp 4 5 6 7 1, it's the Lydian mod, which is up here. And the fifth mod, which is it's got 1 flat 1 2 3 4 5 6 flat 7 and 1. These two mods are the easiest one you can deal with. The Mixolydian and the Lydian, the formulas are very simple, but there's a way, of course, of dealing with those formulas, because they're cyclical, which I'll explain in other coming lessons anyway. And then you got the Ionian mod, which is a complement of the Phrygian mod. It's 1 2 flat 3 4 5 flat 6 flat 7 and 1. And then you have your seventh mod, which is the most minor mod here. It's 1 flat 2 flat 3 4 flat 5 flat 6 flat 7 and back to 1. Now we go to the next one. I'm moving very fast here. The next triangle. The next triangle is the chords triangle. Chords triangle is from those mods. Now we are doing this here. In the next kind of sub chapter here, you have cycles of intervals. I will explain a little bit, but this cycle which we use here to create chords is called the tertian harmony. Now, tertian harmony means you jump one note and you go to the next one. Now, if you want to create any chord, you go 1 3 5 7. So for the Ionian mod, which this one is for the Ionian mod, you get a major 7. This is a tetrad, because it's got 4 notes, 1 2 3 4. A tetrad. A triad would be a major third there. Okay, 1 3 5, and the tetrad is 1 3 5 7. Now you go on to the next mod, which is in this case is the Dorian mod, it's got 1 flat 3 5 flat 7. This gives you a minor 7 chord, a minor 7 chord. If you take a triad, it gives you a minor chord here, minor chord, 1 flat 3 5. Now the next one is the Phrygian mod. Now it also gives you 1 flat 3 5 flat 7, which is a minor 7, and a triad that you get there is a flat sorry, a minor chord, which is 1 flat 3 5. That's the triad you get there. And the fourth one is 1 3 5 7. You get a major 7, a major 7 with 1 3 5 7, and a triad, you get a major triad here, 1 3 5. Okay, now you go on to the next chord, which is 1 3 5 flat 7. Now this is a funny chord. It's called a, a dominant, a dominant, dominant chord, or dominant 7, dominant 7. Now you've seen where they just call 7. This is the chord that you get, 1 3 5 and flat 7, 1 3 5 flat 7. Major 7, they actually call it, which is up here. They actually put it as a MAJ 7. That's major 7. If you see M7, that's a dominant 7. Okay. Now you can see the complementary. The complementary here, this one gives you a dominant 7. This one gives you a major 7. Now let's go to the next one. The next one, which is the sixth, gives you the same chord with the third, with its complementary, which is 1 flat 3 5 flat 7, which is a minor 7. Now let's go to the complementary of our chord, which is this one here, the second. Now this is a funny one. It's got 1 flat 3 flat 5 flat 7. This is called a minor 7 flat 5, minor 7 flat 5. This one is a minor 7 up here, but this one is a minor 7 flat 5. Now you can see what is happening with the complementaries. It's got one flat for these two. It's actually a flat 5 and here 5. Okay, but for the 3 and 6, they are the same. And then for the octave and the octave and the unison, they are the same as well. It's just a major 7. Okay, major 7 tetrad. Now let's go on to the next one. This is the next topic I'm gonna deal with, which is pretty much simple, and we're going to deal with this one later on as well. This is the cycle of intervals. Cycle of intervals. I'm not talking about a series here, although you create series out of that. But the cycle of intervals is such that, like here, you can see if you are gonna create your chord by moving from one by this an octave, like you're jumping by an octave. If you jump by an octave, you actually it's just like the eighth, created from the eighth as well. 1 8, you get 1 8 1 8 1 8. You have an interval, which is an octave all the time, an octave all the time. The cycles of unisons. Now, if you go by cycles of seconds, or which is called secundal harmony. Secundal harmony. In secundal harmony, you can create chords there, which is 1. They are jumping 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. You always have this one here. So your triad will be 1 2 3. That's your triad, and it's called secundal harmony. It's a cycle of seconds. Now, the one that is mainly used, I will highlight it here. Or even let me highlight these three here, like that. They are mostly used, but the first one, which is this one, tertian harmony, is the one that creates. We used to create our chord, like the major chord, the minor chord, the diminished chord. Now, the sus chord it's a different kind of thing. Then it mixes two cycles of intervals. We will talk about that later. The next cycle is the cycle of fourths. Cycle of fourths is called quartal harmony. You can create quartal harmony chords. And this is the cycle here. You get 1 4 7 3 2 5 1. This is your chord. So if you ask you to play a tetrad or a triad, for example, it is 1 4 7, and the tetrad would be 1 4 7 3. That's what you have there. Now you find that if you complete that over 2 octaves, you get back to the whole scale. All the notes in the scale. Now go to the fifth mod, which is called Quintal Harmony. Quintal Harmony is the cycle of fifths. And it goes 1 5 2 6 3 7 4 1. Okay. And the next one, I call it the sextal harmony or the hexal harmony. For lack of a word here, I want to relate it to 6. So that's a cycle of 6, and it goes 1 6 4 2 7 5 3 back to 1. Okay. And the seventh way of creating harmony, which is called, I call it seventhal harmony or heptal harmony, for the lack of a word again. This is the cycle of sevens. It goes 1 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. So you can see you can create triads. The first one is a triad there, 1 7 6 is a triad, and a tetrad would be 1 7 6 5 there. And this is the thing. So that's the thing there. So for octaves is 1 8. So 1 8 1. If you continue, you actually have a doubled octave, doubled. You go on like that. So I'll leave it like that. If you start from 1, you go to 8. If you start from 2, you go to another, the octave of the 2. So it's actually the octave of the note that you choose. Okay. Now the next thing which I'm gonna do first as well is this. I'm considering the cycle of thirds, so I'm gonna tell you what happens there. The chord that I have an interval which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, where this number exists, the second or third or fifth, where it exists. 1 exists in all chords because it's the root. Sometimes you leave out the root of that chord when you're fretting polychords. Okay. And then we go to the second. You have add second. Those chords that have maybe it gives you slash. It's got a slash. It means what you put that number slash and slash a letter there. That letter is the one that you put in the bass. Okay. You can have a major, like a major third. A major C major with a C in the bass. This is the natural C, which you call just C major. But if you put the third in the bass, you can actually, you may want to indicate it if you like. You normally indicate it when you actually put a note that is not in the chord. It's not in that harmony. For example, if you go back to this, this one here is the tertian harmony. If you have 1 3 5 and then you decide to put a sixth in the bass, you go 1 3 5 slash 6. For example, in the key of C, the sixth is A. You can actually have C slash A. That means A is in the bass. You've put the A in the bass of that chord. For some reason, maybe you want to change things. Maybe you're playing an A minor slash, so it will be slash C slash A. Now we go on to, we'll talk about slash chords actually, because they're very important. You can create some harmony there you can create some harmonic some rhythms actually, if you like, that are very beautiful by adding those chords in your system, slash chords. Okay. So the second, like I told you, it's also on the ninth. That's the octave of the second. It's ninth chord. sus2, you have sus2 chord, and you can use it as a slash chord or as an add. And 3, that's the tertian harmony, major third, minor third, diminished, augmented, add chords, slash chords. You can do that. Number 4, you have a sus4 or an add4. Okay, or this is, I'm speaking here in terms of the tertian harmony, the normal harmony that we use in music. And the 5th, you have it in triads, in major chords, minor chords, diminished chords, augmented chords, tetrads, half diminished, full diminished. And the 6th, you have it in the add 6 or slash chords, So you have it in there. You may have a certain chord slash 6. And the 7th, you got it in the M7, which is this is the dominant 7, major 7, flat 5, minor 7, flat 5, major 7, flat 5, sus4, sus2, and then the sus2, you can have a sus2 7 and a sus4 7, 7th chord. Okay. The number 8 is octave. Octave is the doubling of the one of those notes in a chord. So you have that in most chords. Most chords have an octave. Okay. So this is the thing. I just want to thank you very much. So the thing that I want you to remember in this is the complementary mod, and then you know about the mods, and then you know about the cycle of intervals, and then you know about the chords that are in mods, or the chords that you create from mods. Okay. And the ones that I've given in this one are the first chords, the first, which are formed from the first degree of each mod. Okay. Otherwise, we'll go deeper into finding out what is exactly, when we harmonize each mod, then we can find out the progression of chords in that mod, in any particular mod. Thank you very much. My name is Vukile. I just want to cut out this video here so that it doesn't get too long. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.